We're finally hearing some reports of what is happening at Guantanamo. Now, we know that there are people being deported to countries they are not from. A Venezuelan woman and her daughter were deported to Mexico. We know that there is a hotel in Panama where a smattering of Asians, doesn't really matter, they're Thai, they're Chinese, they're Indian, they're all being kept in this hotel in Panama, a place they're not from. And of course, now we know that there are migrants at Guantanamo. Now, we've been told the migrants at Guantanamo apparently are dangerous. They are gang members. Well, the Washington Post has some reporting, and it looks like, no, that's not who they are, because of course it's fucking not. We're being lied to constantly. And if you believed it, you are a idiot. Invasive frisks, suicide attempts, 3 migrants describe Guantanamo detention. The men say they were detained, denied calls to loved ones, subjected to humiliating searches, and left in isolation for prolonged periods. I'm just going to read this to y'all. He couldn't tell when the day started and ended within the windowless, peeling yellow 4 walls of his prison cell in Guantanamo. Diuvar Uzcátegui kept track of them by putting a small tear in the last blank page of a Bible after every third meal. Jesus fucking Christ. The book was given to him by the military guards along with a blanket and a 3/4 inch foam pad to sleep on. He went to a bathroom in a bucket, oh my God, and connected to a tap in the cell. And though he couldn't see his fellow detainees, he could hear them. Some of the men screamed. Others threatened to kill themselves. One, interviewed by the Washington Post, said he attempted it. During his 2 weeks at Guantanamo Bay, Uzcátegui, 27, said he was rarely let outside. Both times he was shackled and placed in what he described as a cage. It was the only sight of the blue Cuban sky he got, so otherworldly it felt like a dream. They didn't treat me like a human being, he said, his voice flustered with indignation. They threw me in a cave. Oh my God. Is this him? He's in El Paso. Look at this guy. Just a fucking normal ass guy. The Trump administration flew nearly 180 migrants from the United States to Guantanamo and deported all of them to Venezuela on Thursday. The Post spoke with the 3 men who were detained in the U.S. military prison that has been used to house suspected terrorists since obviously 9/11, all across the border illegally. And although Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem called the migrants transported to Cuba the worst of the worst, the Post could find no other criminal record for those interviewed. Uzcátegui, Jose Daniel Simancas, and Franier Montes said they were denied calls to lawyers or loved ones after repeated pleas. They said they were subjected to humiliating and invasive strip searches. They described prolonged periods in isolation with only 2 one-hour opportunities to go outside over 2 weeks. Jesus, these fucking poor people. Their testimonies echoed the fears expressed by human rights groups that migrants transferred to a place known for its isolation and history of torture allegations could be vulnerable to abuse. The migrants' conditions in Guantanamo, quote, were horrific and far more restrictive, more severe, and more abusive than what we would see in a typical immigration detention facility in the U.S., said Eunice Cho, a senior staff at the ACLU National Prison Project. The ACLU is one of the many organizations sued the administration to allow legal access to the migrants. The migrants described being supervised by military guards, a concern for legal rights groups that have stressed that immigrants are there because of a civil immigration violation, not alleged war crimes like the 9/11 detainees. Blurring the lines between civilian and military enforcement, Cho said, encroaches on the division between civil society and militarized society. Sounds like MAGA's dream come true. That's what they actually want. At the end of the day, military staff are not supposed to be enforcing civilian law, which is immigration law, Cho said, and by placing military guards to detain people in detention, that's exactly what's happening. I mean, wait till they put like Palestinians there. Cho said the migrants' alleged days-long stretch in their cells also fits the definition of solitary confinement as laid out by the United Nations Nelson Mandela rules, which define it as holding prisoners for more than 22 hours per day without meaningful human contact. The unprecedented move to house migrants at Guantanamo was made as the Trump administration moves forward with the president's directive to deport the highest number of migrants in history, and detention facilities quickly fill up. DHS did not respond about the prisoners. Caroline Leavitt didn't respond to a question on Tuesday. Instead, she repeated the message shared by Noem. If you invade our nation's borders, and then if you further commit heinous, brutal crimes in the interior of our country, like raping and murdering the innocent, law-abiding women and girls, then you are going to be deported why are you so psychosexual with this? Like, if you invade our country and then you just rape and murder innocent law-abiding women and like, stop. Why is this so sick? This is so sick. There's no proof that anybody who was deported to Guantanamo did any of that. There's also no proof that migrants do these heinous crimes at any greater rate than, in fact, they don't, than American citizens. And so all they have is like one case, right? The Lake and Riley Act. And this is it. And oh, by the way, Ruben Gallego, senator of Arizona, also voted for the Lake and Riley Act because fuck that guy. Fuck that guy, man. I mean, obviously an upgrade from Kirsten Sinema, but still, fuck that guy. Uzcátegui was reunited with his family in Maracay, Venezuela. He was transported in a dark Venezuelan government security van. His family was there waiting for him. His mother hugged him and sobbed. Guantanamo is supposed to be a maximum security prison for terrorists. No, he asked. I'm not any of that. I'm not a criminal. God, this is so terrifying. So there he is hugging his mom. Of course they picked him up. Enforcement officials showed up at a construction job site in late January looking for Uzcátegui. He had been working and attending regular checkups with ICE officials after having crossed the border illegally in December 2023, but they contended he had missed an appointment and an accusation he denies. The agents put him in handcuffs, and shortly thereafter, ICE put out a statement naming him as a Tren de Aragua gang member. There you go. See? Crossed the border illegally, violation. Was checking in regularly with ICE, meaning they knew where he was, they knew who he was checking in with them. He was a worker. He's a construction worker. He was going to his job. That's where they raided him. And they accused him of not showing up to an ICE appointment or checking in with ICE, which an allegation he denied. And then they were like, sorry, we're going to deport you to Guantanamo, and also now you're a gang member. You see how easy it is? So whoever is echoing that there were X amount of Tren de Aragua gang members better not get that fucking stat from ICE. Because Psycho Homan and Christy Noem are lying. They are lying. And of course we know that Trump wants the deportations up. So of course, who are they going to go after? The people they have contact with. Who are the people they have contact with? The people who check in with them. The people who are like, I know I'm here not legally, but I am working and I'm just checking in with you. That's who they're going to go after. So, man, I wouldn't be surprised if we see DACA recipients deported, people who are actually in the system. Because every criminal, every dangerous criminal is always the one to register with immigration and customs, and they are always there like, here I am, this is where I live, this is what I do, this is where I work. Just the most heinous criminals are always checking in with law enforcement. They took photos of us. DHS later released high-resolution images showing the detainees boarding flights. He said it was humiliating. I was afraid because I was being humiliated in a way that was, I'm sorry for the word, racist. Oh, God. I love how you have a Venezuelan man who's like, I understand you Americans get very, very upset at the R word. But yes, it did feel, how do I say, racist. I don't want you to stop paying attention. I'm not trying to do a woke, but I was quite fucking literally held in Guantanamo. What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/bitchuation room. Do